Hey guys, what's up and welcome to the channel Shotgun Shogun, and I know you guys have all been waiting for this moment. That's right, we're going to be talking about the first half of the September 5th Champions Cup bracket. Now, these contestants are going to be fighting for the right to get into the main September Shotgun Shogun Showdown, and that is the big money tournament. That's the $1,000 tournament. Now, you might be saying, hey, I thought you were going to be doing one tournament. Well, if you didn't watch the last video, you would not know that we had over 110 people sign up within 12 hours. This is confirmed the biggest prize pool tournament in Epic7 history at this point, and they're only going to get bigger because the hype so far for these two tournaments has been insane. Everybody I've talked to has been super excited about getting into these. They've been super excited about watching these. We've got some of the biggest names in the game competing. Now, one of the things that I'm really excited for with the Champions Cup is that you never know that somebody may come out of the Champions Cup as the dark horse in the main tournament to sweep the whole thing. You never know what kind of plays are going to be coming out of some of these players, because some of them a little bit less known but still champion players. Some of them are champion/legend players. A lot of people that I know who also draft like really crazy stuff that I really enjoy fighting against. I also have joined here with Deity. I forgot to mention that because I started rambling about how hype I am, but we're going to be talking about the first half of these contestants, what they play, whether or not we know them, what we think they're going to be doing in the tournament themselves, and what their chances are. But first up, let's talk about KaeyaSoul. Am I pronouncing that right? How do you think that we're pronouncing this name? We're going to you just call him Sept? Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if that's right, but that's what I've always called him.
Fair enough. Server global, which a lot of these players are global players, representing guild Talentless. Now, previously his RTA season rank was high champ. Currently he is in legend. I actually have fought him a couple of times up in legend. And first up, we're going to make fun of him a little bit because he didn't know what favorite go-to pick means, because he answered, I wish Kaz participated, but I go for Sky King. I don't think that was the answer that we were looking for, mostly looking for who your favorite character is to pick and play with. But I guess he's also known for Weeb King. Maybe that's also Sky King.
Probably
Sky King, I'm just going to put out there that Sept is probably your biggest fan. So if you could just comment on this video and let him know that you have noticed him, I think that he would be very, very ecstatic. Now, he does indicate that his primary playstyle is bruiser/variable, which I always like when people put variable in there, right? Because you actually don't know what kind of variable that is. Are they a bruiser CC player? Are they a bruiser cleave player, like the cheat fleet slow cleave type of people? Things along those lines. Now, when I did fight him the other day in legend, he had a very, very fast ML Rin, which I always do enjoy seeing. It was actually a really good fight, and afterwards he messaged me. We talked a little bit about the fight. Really, really cool guy. What is your experiences with this player?
Okay, so I have not fought Sept much. I know he always bruises down when I fight him because I play a cleave play style, so he usually just plays what he said. They're the regular bruiser, and the ML Ren, I do remember that coming out, and it's usually always a must ban for me because it is very fast. But he also, one thing is he also just played in the Cafe Kaz tournament, and there was a very good Dark Corvus showcase against him. So if you are up against Sept, make sure to pick Dark Corvus.
Hey, Dark Corvus is in Mystic rotation right now too. So, for all of those of you who are in the bracket, make sure you get your Dark Corvuses set up, because if we would have put in here, what's your weakness? That's actually, he probably wouldn't have filled it out correctly, right? He probably would have said Cafe Kaz not being in the tournament is his biggest weakness. But we know now that it is Dark Corvus. I do think that he is a really good player. It was a little bit of a sweaty match when I fought him. And that's actually one of the things that I'm actually really looking forward to this tournament, right? Because a lot of these players, while they didn't end Legend last season, are still really good players, and it also is going to be interesting to see how they have evolved from last season to now, right? Because I feel like a lot of the people who ended High Legend took preseason, they were like, you know what, I don't need to really practice much, I got my Legend frame, this isn't going to be a sweaty time for me, I'm going to take a break. Whereas the people who were High Champ last season are like, this is it, this is the season, I gotta hit the lab, I gotta get stuff working. So maybe we'll see some interesting stuff. I am interested to see if he picks that ML Rin, because I just always really like seeing ML Rin picks. I think that she's a very strong, very strong unit if you play her right.
Okay, so are we gonna move on to
let's see who's the next contestant.
Okay, so next contestant is Valeus. I personally have never fought them or seen them on the ladder, but they did finish top 100 champ last season. So I'm not sure. I'm excited to see what they do in the tournament. So his guild is Free Havoc, and he's from the global server as well.
I've actually fought Free Havoc before, mostly because I remember the name, right? Because Free Havoc is a pretty easy one to remember. I believe they were pretty tough. I'd have to go. I think I actually might have had them on Shogun Versus one time. I'll have to go back and scour my things to see if we did and if I fought him. Now, one of the things he's in my stream from time to time, and that's actually how I knew who he was, because I remembered, I put the name together. You're right, I haven't fought him, or if I did, I don't specifically remember. I don't think you played
preseason.
Yeah, but I mean, again, finishing top 100 champ last season is still really good, because it was still real sweaty up at the top of champion, like right there on that cusp of legend. So yeah, we'll see. I do see here he picks T-Cern, so I'm a big fan of that one, just because I feel like T-Cern has been getting a lot of play lately. And I don't know, it would be interesting to see what it was that broke T-Cern out, right? Because you really didn't see too much T-Cern even right after her buff, right? Not too many people were like, oh my god, T-Cern is like the best thing that ever exists. So it's interesting to see whether or not it was like the Champ Z recall that people got T-Cern, whether or not it was like Pan Shui using T-Cern, some other bigger players showing, hey, T-Cern's really good, or was it just that people started putting T-Cern in like arena defense, and then people were like, oh, that's big brain, I'm just going to copy that. I know personally, I always wanted to build T-Cern. I just didn't have T-Cern, feels bad, pulled so much.
I feel like it's a mix of all of those things together, plus the Champ Z recall just finally allowed people to all just break in and start building her.
Yeah, now he did indicate that he does primarily play bruiser style, which I mean is very common, right? But I feel like when you just blanket put bruiser, there's multiple different types of bruiser teams, right? There's like the heavy duty Magnum condom bruiser teams, there's the speed bruiser teams like Mevlin, right, with that crazy ML Ken that he has. I'm really high damage bruiser team, a little bit more on the aggressive side. So bruiser doesn't always necessarily mean a snore fest that a lot of people indicate, but we don't have too much information on him. So you know what the benefit of that is, right?
Yeah.
Nobody knows what you play or what you do, so you can catch him off guard like triple unity set Sama. But our next contestant, Peg V, global player, Epic Dawn Guild representation, previous RTA season high champ, another high champ, favorite go-to pick, and this one's going to be real weird. I don't see anybody picking this character first turn. Very, very underrated character. Not many people play with them. It's going to be Arbiter Vildred. Very underrated character in the current meta. So, definitely playing outside of the box. He does bounce between legend and champ, so I completely understand that one. Although I haven't actually get knocked out of legend lately, but a lot of people are actually. One thing I did notice, and this is a side thing here, is when I've been doing my dailies or just playing around, I've been seeing a lot more big names up there in legend. I think that it's not preseason ending that's getting them there. It's that tournament. I'm like, ooh, I haven't seen this name in a hot minute until they entered the tournament. Not that I'm going to tell anybody who those names were, but playstyles, cleave and crowd control. This is actually one of our first ones that I've seen that play the cleave crowd control style. Always very interesting. One thing I love watching about Kaz is the crowd control, because he's very sweaty edge of your seat. Are they going to slip out? Are they gonna, get that 15? Are you gonna get 15%ed rolling the dice? But it is good to see, a little bit of extra style in there. A lot of times you don't see too many cleave teams. A lot of people just go real sweaty bruiser, very safe. So a good cleave can easily come through and break a lot of teams out.
Yeah, I'm excited to see him playing crowd control. I'm curious what all units he's going to be using. With his go-to pick Arby, it's hard to say, but hopefully we can see some Muis, some Fire Tenebrias. Doubtful Pearl Horizon, but it'd be very, very cool to see.
It would be nice. I feel like sometimes if you play cleave / crowd control, it's really, and especially if you're an Arby player, right? It's do I get Arby first?
Yeah.
If you don't get Arby first, and then they start bruisering down or something like that, then you can switch into crowd control. You can also do I have seen some people play like Arby with crowd control, so it's like you lock them down and then Arby just does the work, and if they slip out and kill Arby, dead. Right?
Yeah.
Plus Arby actually has that 100% chance blind that somehow just goes through effect resist, because you can have your 300 effect resist character and somehow Arby's gonna blind it.
Yeah, Arby's one of the best crowd control units, actually, because of that blind. So he fits into crowd control teams very, very well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I think that it'll be interesting to see how he stacks up against the competition.
Yeah, it should be fun. But moving on to the next contestant, it's going to be Liminal. So a lot of us have seen Liminal around everywhere he's been. Last season, he was champion, but he never actually pushed heavily. But one of the things that I know him personally for is him having every unit. But he's from the global server. He's from Life as his guild. And his favorite go-to pick was ML Tywin before it was cool.
I can get behind that, because I too was a big fan of ML Tywin before his buffs. Always enjoyed him. So, Liminal's my pick just because of that.
Yeah. So he is most known for Arena. So he heavily pushes Arena. I do believe he has the top 4 through 30 frame from last season. Oh, so nice. He is very heavily invested in Arena. But he also plays the Bruiser / Control playstyle. So different from the last contestant who played Sleeve Clash Crowd Control. He plays Bruiser / Control, which I don't know what the difference is really going to be there.
That's actually something that I have been kind of working on, right? Because I'm a big Bruiser player, but I realize that there's times where I need to, like, if I add in a little bit of control, it's going to come out way better for me. I honestly think that, like, you can actually play ML Tywin as part of that control. So like an Alencia into an ML Tywin, right? You strip, then stun slow, bringing in the Falconeer Quarry for shutdown. I've actually been kind of looking at working Mui into my bruiser team, right? Because you have the strip, you have the attack buff,
Mm-hmm.
that can go into a Tywin, and now you're rotating stuns between Mui
Yeah, two different.
a Tywin, and you're burning off their souls. You can bring in a bruiser Dizzy for
That's
things
actually
along
scary.
those lines. Yeah, no, it really is. And so there are quite a few ways. Not only that, but like if they do slip out, right? You still have bruisers to deal
Take the
with
hits.
them, and they're going to take the hits, right?
Mhm.
Whereas like a lot of hard control teams, the moment somebody slips out, your Broman's dead, you know, something along those lines. That's so that's actually something that I'm kind of working on. So I actually really like this playstyle, and I'm really interested to see how he puts that in there. Wife, obviously one of the top guilds, so we can expect, you know, some good stuff out of him because he has, you know, that top ranking in arena, obviously has the gear, has the knowledge. I mean, sure, arena is basically PvE, but we'll see how it goes. But the next person is actually somebody who had no choice in the matter of joining this tournament. He actually responded to my Reddit thread because I called him out specifically because I wanted to see how to get a hold of him. And this is somebody that I know Kaz like specifically has talked about in the past, and every time that I've ever fought him, he has like some weird draft that just comes out of nowhere. And he was actually playing Ray before Ray was cool. I mean, I actually think a lot of people still sleep on Ray, but this dude was coming out and he's like, boom, I'm gonna use Ray. Ray took me to legend, you know, today or something like that. He also trolls around in channel 2 every so often, which is the best chat channel in the game. But we're talking about New Yorker. He is a global player. He's in Dragalia. Last RTA season, he was in High Champ. I remember seeing him up in Legend quite a bit. He was like me. We bounced in between Champ and Legend a lot. But dude definitely was picking Ray when everybody was talking about how bad Ray was, right? Because a lot of times up in Legend, you deal with, well, a lot of debuffs. Debuff meta is real strong. Ray helps out with that quite a bit. He says he's not known, but the fact that me, you, and Kaz specifically know him by name, and I believe at one point Kaz was talking about how he's going to make a video about how to draft against New Yorker. And
so,
yeah,
one of the coolest thing with New Yorker is whenever you fight him on the ladder, if you do happen to beat him, you can bet the next time you fight him, he's going to beat you. He has this ability. That's like one thing that Kaz talks about all the time. He has this ability that when he loses, he focuses on what he lost on, and he goes to the lab, and he comes back ready the very next time. He always gets the answer to whatever you just did to him. It's a very impressive like ability that he has. But not sure how he'll be able to implement that in the tournament.
Yeah, especially because, I mean, we don't necessarily know how many of these people he's fought before, right? But because he's so variable, and because he has all of those things in his back pocket, he has that experience. We'll see how he does, right? I mean, doesn't even put on here like what his play style is. He's a secret. He didn't even know he was going to be in this, so you don't know what he's going to bring to the table.
He doesn't know.
So
he doesn't know what he's going to bring.
Yeah.
But he's also like, he put for most known for, I'm not known, when all of us know who he is, which is funny.
So humble.
Yeah. And then the primary play style is just variable. So he's gonna be one of my personal favorites going into this tournament.
I'm definitely excited to watch this one.
Okay, so moving on to the next person, I do not know him specifically. I don't know if I've ever fought him. He must not be playing preseason too much, but it is Howie. Howie with a bunch of W's.
XX. Howie.
Oh yeah.
XX.
Sorry, there's some X's in there too.
The X's add edge. I'm surprised that he didn't put his favorite go-to pick as Arby or Rylet.
Yeah, edgelord. But he's from the global server, and he's representing the guild Stargazing.
I don't know that I know that one.
Yeah, I'm not sure of it either. Which is cool though, that we're getting a bunch of different people from different guilds to
absolutely
kind of spice it up. So his previous RTA season ranking was champion, but like I said, I don't think many of us have seen him in preseason. So who knows what he's working on? None of us are too sure. His favorite go-to pick is Rowana, uh, which is super scary for me because I'm a main SSB player. But a lot of people are heavy SSB players as well.
You know,
And
I have seen some interesting Rowana builds lately, like counter Celestine Rowana. I've actually been seeing quite a bit more Rowana picks too. Like they'll pick SSB and Rowana. That way
Yes.
you block the Rowana pick, and then it ends up being like a decked out counter Celestine Rowana or something along those lines. You can also, and I think a lot of people completely forgot, it's like you can pick Rowana into Lilius, you can pick Rowana into Alencia, you can pick Rowana into a lot of these characters that have double attacks, right? You can pick Rowana into Sama and then just win.
Yeah, Unity units. So that is one cool thing with Rowana, or with him saying Rowana is his favorite unit. A lot of people who have Rowana put very minimal effort into her because she works on pretty mediocre gear.
She's like ML Haste, where you can he does his job by existing.
Yeah, that's just what they. But the fact that he made it his favorite go-to pick means he probably has one crazy decked out Rowana, which is going to be cool to see.
Yeah, definitely want to see that.
He's most known for his third place in Summoners War RTA Tourney 2017 New York Regionals. So he is a big Summoners War player, which is cool to see moving over to Epic7 and trying to compete in the bigger tournaments here as well.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. And I mean, a regional tournament, that's nothing to scoff at, right?
Oh no.
So it'll be interesting to see what he brings from Summoners War over to the RTA scene in Epic7. Now, I mean, I may like you said, I may have fought him at some point in the ladder. The name's not really sticking out too much to me, but like you said, I really like the Rowana pick. I like that his playstyle is variable. So it'll be cool to see what he brings to this. But I think both of us know the next one, and this is Minty 3K.
Yeah.
Another representative of the Life Guild global server. He was in high champion. He said his highest points were around 2.7, 2.8k. His favorite go-to pick is Rylet, which I don't understand because maybe everybody else's Rylet isn't broken like mine. I needed to get his probably works all the time. Mine, I needed to get the extended warranty on my evasion, take it in for some service. But he is most known for inting on his stream, which Minty is another streamer. So that's actually really cool. We're getting a bunch of streamers and non-streamers in this, but he does play Bruiser Control, which again, probably one of my personal favorites. So it'll be interesting. I don't know if his Rylet is a bruiser. I haven't taken a look at his Rylet. I feel like Rylets are one of two things. They're either like super fast and will delete anything that is on the screen, or they are that bruiser style, because you never know when 70% chance is going to actually work.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure I don't want to say he does, but I think it's on the lifesteal build, so it does have soloing potential. But I could be wrong. The bad thing is Minty does stream later at night, so it's hard to watch him for me. So I do not have too much information on him, but I know he is a great streamer, and he is a pretty high-level player as well.
You know, the one problem, though, that Minty's going to have is that his competition can watch and find out what he does. And that's a topic for a whole other time. Because that's always a problem when it comes to streaming and being in tournaments. But I heard that our next contestant is very prolific. Let us hear about that, Deity.
Okay, so I don't know how to say his name. I don't know if it's Muzi, how it's pronounced, but you guys know who I'm talking about. He is on the global server. His guild is Acopolis, I think is how you say that as well. His whole thing is so hard for me to wrap my brain around. But his previous RTA rank is he's champion in quotations. Don't remember rank, but probably around 2,400 points. So he
Okay.
pushed to like middle champion. He is a very good player. I'm pretty sure Shogun's fought him too.
Yep.
He's obnoxious to deal with. So his Charles is a work of art. That thing, it's the most broken Charles I've ever had to fight.
I hate fighting Charles in the first place, but yeah, broken Charles are even worse.
Yeah, when I fought him on stream a few times, and literally every time I touch anything, his Charles hits me twice, and it hits like a monster truck. It's absolutely ridiculous. But his most known for, I don't know, Kek W. It's his Charles for me. Like I've been destroyed by that thing so many times, and I purposely let it through just for the RNG fun to watch it destroy me.
You know, the thing is though, is I think that he is most known for being the legendary player Muzi. In fact, he is so good that Brazilians call him O Mios Brabo, which in Portuguese means the angriest player of all. If you're curious of why they call him that, it's because one time when he was playing RTA, he got so furious and angry that he just obliterated the enemy. Yes, indeed, he is the best player of all time just because of his fury and exceptional, as I can talk, ability. I'm just so overcome with, exceptional ability when playing this mobile game. Afraid? That's because you should be. Yes. The copy.
He's one of the he's one of the favorites going into the tournament for a lot of people, and as you see, he has that legendary copy pasta that was built around him. You can tell he's going to be making some waves in the tourney.
That's right.
It's going to be exciting to see.
Yeah, you don't get copy pasta made about you unless you are either really good or really good at being bad.
Yeah, one of the two.
Yes. But
all right, so
next up, and this is somebody I actually haven't fought in quite a while, but I remember last season, he was actually somebody that I had a hard time against for a little bit. And then much like previously mentioned New Yorker, I kind of went to the lab. I kind of looked at like what it was that he ran, what he beat me with. And then I came back and we kind of go back and forth, right? So this is going to be War Champs. He is global. He is representing Cheat Fleet. Kaz probably has more information on him, but Kaz is not here, so we're going to talk about War Champs. So previous season, high champ, about 70 points away from legend. Like I said, I fought him quite often on the ladder. So yeah, favorite pick, Arbiter Vildred again, very, very out of the box player. He is most known apparently for his counter Charles, which I do remember being very, very rough. And actually, I believe that, I mean, a lot of Charles are the reasons why I built my Fire Ravi and my Fire 5-head Charlotte. So I'm sure that this was one of them. Actually, I do believe that I got dumpstered by maybe it was War Champs Charles in like the first Cafe Kaz tournament. I forget whose Charles it was, but I remember getting absolutely destroyed when I tried to meme around with my like 301 speed ML Rin. And I was like, oh, I'm going to just bonk this Charles. And then it just deleted me. But I remember seeing his Charles hits like an absolute monster truck, and it's super thick too. So a lot of times whenever I would go up against him, he would just straight up magnum condom his Charles. It would be like Charles Ruel, another healer, and I would be like, oh, this is fine, I'll just kill that Charles. And then you hit the Charles, it was super thick, and then it just comes back and destroys you. Definitely a well-geared player with a very good roster. Again, high champion, right? It's not easy to get there at the end of an official RTA season without being very good.
Yeah, I haven't fought War Champs too much personally. The couple of times I did fight him, he did beat me pretty bad. I have seen him fight a lot in Shuffle stream. Shuffles used to fight him all the time, and that's most of where I've seen him, but he is a very, very obnoxious player. So one of the things is, like, the meme behind War Champs is his RNG is unbelievable in every scenario. If he has something that needs to go right, it normally goes right. And hopefully it'll go right for him in the tournament like it has in the past.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm always excited to see a Charles pop off when it's not against me, right?
Yeah.
You know, if it's
That'll be the fun part for it. All right. So speaking of Charles Cleaves, or Charles, we have Big Smo. So he is from the global server. His guild is Fua Fua, which is another guild I don't personally know.
I feel like I may have fought them at some point, but yeah.
Yeah, so that's another guild representative, which is cool. So his previous RTA season ranked last season was champion. He doesn't remember exactly where he was, but the fact that he was champion and where he's at right now in preseason, he's a good player. So he was probably middle or high champion. So his favorite go-to pick is Arbiter Villager or FCC. I don't believe that for a second, because what he's most known for is his Charles Cleave. His Charles Cleave is obnoxious to have to fight, because in his draft, he'll pick it, and you know what it is, but you don't know how to stop it. Because if you ban it, I don't want to give too much of his playstyle away, but if you ban one unit, it allows all the other units to pop off, and it's a very obnoxious playstyle.
I'm actually kind of interested to see that then, because I mean, I've seen Charles Cleaves, right, with you know, Blue Rose Initiation. I've seen Bruiser Cleaves with other things. I personally like Bruiser Cleave. I'll run. That's why my Alencia is like sped tuned to where she is, because it's like I'll go Alencia into Tywin. So Bruiser Cleave is actually really, really cool play style, because even after the cleave happens, you can't answer it, because, well, they're bruisers, right? So like, they're going to be able to take those hits, cycle back around, and then finish you off however they need to. I think I have fought him maybe once or twice. But I do know that the last time I saw him, he had his legend icon on. So yeah. So definitely interesting to see.
He's going to be another one of my people that I hope what he does at least works once so we could see it. But
right.
I have a feeling with all these other very high tier players, they are going to know him and they're going to probably know how to shut him down, but hoping for the best, because it's a very, very unique and fun play style that he has.
Fantastic. Next one is somebody that probably a lot of people know, most known, I think, for the rap battle diss between him and Warbalt, and that is KaeyaSoul. Global player in Guild Mori, champion, not sure what rank he ended at because he was AFK that entire day. Must be nice. Go-to pick is Kayron, also most known for Kayron, also most known for everybody banning his Kayron. So he had to make Fire Charlotte. Now, personally, one of the reasons why I made Fire Charlotte was because I believe it was the first Cafe Kaz tournament, or was it the second Cafe Kaz tournament, where KaeyaSoul comes out of nowhere with like a level 58 Fire Charlotte, and everybody thinks that the dude's trolling. They're like, yo, did he just pick a level like 58 Charlotte? What is even going on right now? And then proceeded to dumpster with it. Just absolutely destroys people with it. And I was like, yo, that's actually OP. So then I like went back. Fire Charlotte was on my list of characters to build anyways, but after seeing KaeyaSoul's disgusting Fire Charlotte, it inspired me to make my own. I believe Kia's also known for his ML Ken, one of the like real crazy ML Kens, but YouTuber, streamer, people know who KaeyaSoul is. So definitely known for being a bruiser player. So it'll be interesting to see what he has also put into his kit, right? Because I know one of the big things with KaeyaSoul, very limited kit. That was why just being able to get rid of Kayron, pre-ban his Kayron, really put him at a disadvantage. So that was how, like, every time I fought him, I'm just like, oh, just just ban
Yeah.
his Kayron, right? You know, because that's the unit that he has. That's the best unit that he has. So it'll be interesting to see if he's added anything to that. But definitely looking forward to seeing if he pulls out the Fire 5 head.
Yeah, the Fire 5 head. It was funny because he used it at level 58 in the tournament, and it popped off. It was actually, everyone's like, what is this Charlotte?
Oh, yeah.
And then the next match, he leveled it up to level 60 and fully awakened it.
Yeah.
And then it didn't do anything the second time. So it was like really sad because we're like, yo, we're all going to build Charlotte. And then he got SSB'd against the Charlotte the next round. And we're like, okay.
Well, yeah, I mean, SSB against Charlotte is pretty rough, especially considering you have, you know, the AoE.
AoE every turn.
Yeah.
Still, it was a very, very cool thing. And that Charlotte was, it showed us all that Charlotte was a very viable unit.
Yes, absolutely.
But our next contestant is ex-boyfriend. So ex-boyfriend, I've never personally seen them, but they did finish champion last season, and their guild is Eden. Their favorite go-to pick is Crow, so I'm guessing they're probably a Crow Ruel player, but I don't have any experience versus them. Do you have any?
So I don't really have too much experience against them, but I do know that Eden is a very, very big whale guild.
Oh, is that?
Yes, they're actually Eden of Gaming. They're a group that goes from game to game. Very, very big whale guild. So a lot of the players that come out of there are very strong players. And so a lot of them I find kind of keep themselves like low key until they need to. So it'll be very interesting to see what it is that he brings out. Like you said, he is a variable player. Crow is actually, you can Crow Ruel. A lot of people Crow Ruel, but I've seen Crows being put into many different teams, right? Just because of the defense buff, just because of the potential mitigation, the horse in general, right? You have a lot of very like things that you can do with Crow, and you're going to get penalized if you hit him, right? So it's the danger of the horse is always there. So again, a very unknown player that could come through and do big things.
Oh yeah, very, very excited to see. I've seen Crow used with A-lots even, so that's the thing with him saying variable. You never know.
That's true.
Where it's gonna go. So that's always exciting going into this, is not knowing too much about everyone. And is that all we have for this batch?
That is the end of the first half. Now, we will be putting out another video going over the second half of people, mostly because you guys don't want to watch a 3-hour video of everything. Plus, builds the suspense and the hype of what's coming next. But it is going to be really big. Like you said, it is nice to see names that we know and names that we don't know. And I think that, you know, those people who aren't necessarily the most known might be some of the ones to watch because they have that opportunity to be that dark horse, to build up that hype. But I do think that these are going to be some really, really cool matches. There are a lot of variable players here. The Bruiser Cleaves are going to be probably my favorite to watch, but that's not all we have. So make sure that you guys do tune into the next episode or the next video going over the other half of the bracket. This tournament will be September 5th. We will be starting it at 2 p.m. Eastern over on my Twitch channel, which can be found down below. We will be going best of 1 for the first round, and then you will have the best of 3 and then best of 5 for the finals. These guys will be fighting for that last spot in the main tournament, which after we get all of these videos out of the way, then we get into the meat and potatoes tournament, where we're going to have a lot to talk about on these players. But also down below will be all of Deity's information. Deity will be co-casting this alongside of me and KaeyaSoul for the main tournament as well. So if you want to, actually, even if you don't want to, go subscribe to Deity, show this guy some love. Very solid player. But for me, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Take it easy, homies. Peace.
Nike.